Hi, my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. Today is summer camp block number 7. So let's look at summer camp first. What is our theme? What is our theme? We're going to sing some songs for summer camp. Yes, all those camping songs. And here is my block. This is so, I'm just so happy with it. Now, every time I do one of these, I give you our Block Wednesdays. On the Block Wednesdays, I always give you a picture of it done in repeat. And so doesn't this look cool? This would be so good. Here, let me just hold the block. This would be so good for scraps. You know, you could do something really cool with scraps. I love how when you connect them, these corners create that alternate design between. Isn't that fun? Even like the rest of my fabric from this one, all that'll be left from this fat quarter bundle, this would be a cool quilt. So what I've done is walk through the fabric to figure out block number 7. And basically my brain, while it's doing that, is also trying to figure out the colors and sort of think about the colors for the next 2, because we're down to the wire on this one. We're getting close to done. So let's go look at picking the fabric. Before I look at picking the fabric for block number 7, I just want to show you how I'm stacking the things I want to work on this week. It is crazy, it is crazy. Okay, so I'm going to look at the table here. So down on the table, this is my stacking zone. So here is just one of the 3 blocks sets, one of the patterns, 3 blocks of it for Midnight Moon. I still have to cut the other one, and I haven't sewn any of these yet. I am going to sew up the next 3 Secret Lives of Color block, so I have those done. So that's there. Now I can stack these. They lift up pretty good. They don't really shift things. I saw Kimberly Jolly do that, so I was like, oh, that's nice. Then I have my letters from Santa, and I am stitching the North Pole word in there. And then I have the Boo Crew, which I haven't pulled the thread to start doing the cauldron, which is the next part of our free cross stitch that goes with the free quilt along. So, hey, you know, I've got to get it all out here on top of the table, because otherwise it's just not getting done. So that was what I decided to do. I was just put them all up here and try to pick some up and work on them. I also have a project that'll be on Monday for Bev's tour for her new book, Bev from Flamingo Toes, who we love so much. She was just on my book tour, and I'm going to be on her book tour, and my day will be Monday. So I am working on that project too, behind the scenes. Okay, so let's look at our camp songs. I think it's funny that I don't have a lot of memory from camp songs. Well, like I've told you, I have just really a small set of memories from camp. They're all good. My mom says I seem to like it. It just isn't a thing that stuck with me, which might be why I never did much camping later. It just, you know, it was fun when it happened. But camp songs, you know, they are just, music is such an important part for so many people that when you hear your camp songs, they're going to bring back a flood of memories. And you might be doing camp songs now with your kids or your grandkids. Maybe you go to your RVing, maybe people sing camp songs. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Do people do that? Okay, let's take a look, because here is the block, and let's take a look at fabric. So I pulled out a very nice selection for us to walk through. So you basically have sort of the background, which is the white. Then there's a sort of medium light, a medium, and then I colored this dark. That doesn't mean it has to be dark. It depends on your fabric. But there's basically a background and 1, 2, 3 fabrics. So I'm going to go ahead and use my background fabric, which, you know, I gave you a lot of this on the supply list. You know, it's a basic, so it can just, what you don't use, you can just keep for another project. But that way you could have used it in your sashing, or maybe used it, you know, some other way. So I always give you more. Any case, I am looking more at the reds. So I'm looking at the reds and the pinks. And what I wanted to show you is that the fabrics that I'm not using right now, let me see. Not using right now, these two. So I won't be showing these anymore because this is the sashing fabric. So I do not need it in any blocks. You know, so this will just go back in the bin. Now I just used this one on the previous block, so I'm not using it again. And then this one would be cool to audition, and I'll show it to you, but the thing is I use this same pattern in the block right above. So I don't want to use it again. You know, that's just how I roll. Okay, but I'll show you how that might look as an option. So I'm looking to bring the red, and the top right block has the nice floral, and this floral has just been so unique and interesting through the quilt, and I want to bring it to this first column because it's not in this column yet, and so that'll be good. So that is definitely going to be what is considered like the lightest thing here. Now the center, well, let's just look at this. So all of this out part, these are small. They're small units, so I wouldn't want to use anything with big scale. I'll just, here, this is the closest thing I can grab. Like, I wouldn't want to use big scale because it's going to be such a small piece. So I was looking at possibly doing this. I think it'll give enough contrast, but I could also go pink. I could go to the pink and do a pink all around, which might be kind of nice, but it'll make, there really isn't pink in the blocks. So the other thing I have is this tonal, you know, so it is, this is a basic gray line, and this is one of their grunge fabrics they put in with the lines. So that might be where I go. Now for the middle, I could go with that pink. So I could add the pink in the middle. I think that's pretty neat. I'm going to go light rather than dark because I really don't have, unless I made this the middle, and that just seems kind of dull. So I could go a light in my middle like this, and then I thought, well, let's look at the fabric. What I could go some blue, and you know, this block could handle some blue. So let me just grab that. Let me just grab a blue. Here we go. So I could do some blue in the middle like this, or I could go yellow, which is also in that block. So see, that is, I like the yellow. There's the yellow with the little hearts, and then there's also the yellow that's more solid. But see, if I'm going to use the solid out here, I don't want to use the solid in the middle. Now some other ways you could approach this. The blue's pretty good too, isn't it? That would be a pretty nice little pop of blue, and there's blue in the top right and left blocks, and then in the middle block already. So it could handle having a little bit of blue. There's only one with some yellow so far, so that means I definitely have to get yellow in one of these three last blocks. So there's at least, no, there's two with yellow. So I can, but it's also in this floral, so it is popping around. Okay, so I'm debating here on these two. Let me show you some other options. Let's say you did want to use this. The same thing could happen. You could put here, like, to really have a high contrast, or you could do this one to have a high contrast. And here, the center, I definitely would go with something like the yellow, so that you really would see it, or maybe even, let me grab it, maybe even the black. That would be cool in the middle of this one. So there would be an option for here. Now if you wanted to use, let's say, the text print, and let's say you wanted to use pink, there's not really a more solid looking pink. So I think like the red would be much better because this is just too light. See, it just mushes in, and plus there's the small pieces. So red would look better. And then the center of this, you could do just about anything. If you wanted to bring another color in, you could do the blue. You could try putting this in the middle. I think it would mush out a bit. Yellow would pop in the middle of that. But I think also, again, it's too light. I think it needs to go maybe a bit darker. So even like on this one, it could go something like red and green, like that. Okay, so there's a bunch of different options, but what I'm going with is this guy, and then either yellow or blue in the middle, and then I am going to go for the tonal on the corner. So here's with blue. I don't know. Originally I thought yellow. I was like, yes, yellow, but now I'm thinking maybe that pop of blue in the middle will be it. So of course you've already seen the block, but I'm showing you this before, you know, as I'm walking through trying to figure it out. I'll put him over in place. There we go. So that looks really good. Let me bring this up here. That looks really good. I'll get out of the way so you can see it. But yeah, I'll have to push all this up and I'll take a picture and put it on my website today so you can see them all together. I like it, having that red. It sort of sits in the middle of that square too. It's not, I'm in the way. But oh yeah, I like it. Okay, so today, July 20th, 1969, I was 10 years old and it was the first landing on the moon. I actually don't remember that. We lived in Europe and we didn't have a lot of access to television because there was only Armed Forces TV, and we didn't even have a TV for a while. So I'm not sure if it was in that pocket of time, but I don't really remember it. But it is such a great thing, the first landing on the moon. I did a quilt a few years ago called Out of This World. Here's a picture of it. That was a sew along I did for another company. We did 1 block a month. I know a bunch of you sewed this one. This one went to my great nephew who now has it. So today, if you have a quilt with space themes, any kind of space themed quilt, the fabric, the images, share that today. This would be super fun. Gotta see the space themed quilts. Okay, we have a big mail call, well, several mail call. Okay, so let's do the mail call. This is from Hillary in Canada. So she sent this really neat card. Isn't that cool? A person needs a place to unfold their truths, extract the humor. That place is the Pondering Pool. Perhaps I'll see you there. So that's the brand of the card. Isn't that cool? So she sent me some salvages. There we go. Wonderful ones. Thank you, Hillary. Next, I have got Laura from Kansas. And she sent me, look this cute. Look at the cherries. I just had some fresh cherries the other day. They were so good. So good. And she also sent me a salvage and a really wonderful note. Was there something in here that was cool? I can't remember of this one. Oh, she said that she really likes I thought there was something. She said she really likes when I do that showing of the fabric part, like how I go through the process of picking the fabrics. And a bunch of you have said that you enjoyed that. It is what I really enjoy. I mean, it's not something that a lot of people share either. A lot of people just show you making the block and not really how you made decisions on your fabric. And so I hope that you get a lot out of that part because I really enjoy it. Okay, 2 more. I've got one from Jocelyn in North Carolina. So first I have to show you this card. She said she's also a swimmer and somebody on her swim group painted this. It is painted. That looks like a photograph. I was like, okay, I'm gonna look close. Look at that. Isn't that incredible? Her name is Amy, the lady who painted this. And then she sent me aqua squares. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, we need to convert now to aqua squares. If you've already sent me some salvages, that's totally fine, but I have a lot. I probably have enough for about 5 quilts. Maybe not that much, but I have plenty. So if you want to send me something, send me some aqua squares or Starbucks card. Shameless self-promotion. So I'm excited for these. They're going to go into the bin here because I have been working on those squares. See them? I've got them going. And I do need some more variety. And to continue the theme of the aqua squares, Carol over at Zook's, she got these really darling fabrics in her shop and pulled these for me and sent them to me because she's watching. Hi, Carol. She's watching. And she's a brand new owner of Zook's, she and her husband. My friend Sue has been over there, and Mary Jo here is in our morning chat, has been in recently. So, look how pretty these are. Look, these are going to be great. So I'm going to cut some of those up and take these ones also and put them in my blocks. So that is exciting. I love that. Okay, I want to show you a couple of the books. See, we've been doing a lot of themes lately, and so I haven't been able to always pull some pictures to show you. So you really do need to go to Quilt Along with Pat Sloan, into the community page, and there you can see the pictures. But we did the other day the oldest book that you purchased new. You know, so that would be something you purchased when you first started quilting, or just before maybe you started quilting, like the one that I showed you of the Time Life book. But there were 3 of them, I think, that I pulled pictures of because I just thought they were pretty neat. One is by Renee, and it was Renee's book, and she got it in 1974. So if you look back at sort of the quilt revival in 1976 for the United States bicentennial, and probably the year up to that, it's probably in 75, 76, 77. Those were kind of considered the quilt revival, because quilting was really a pioneer art that they focused on showing during the bicentennial. So a lot of people were seeing it kind of for the first time. And that this book of 74 was a little bit early from that. Okay, the second book is Barbara's, and it's from 1977, and that flower power on there is just amazing. I love that pop art. I was just going to college in 77. Well, I was in college in 76, 77. So I just love that pop art on there. I remember seeing that book. For some reason, I remember seeing it. Maybe somebody in Guild had it when I started to quilt. Oh, the sun is coming out. You can see do you see how it's gotten lighter? That's because my door is, the curtain is open, and the sun has come out because it's been cloudy. It's been raining again. And then Carol's, this book is the original publication of is 1949, which is quite a long time ago for quilting. I mean, there were not a lot of quilt books probably prior to the late 70s, early 80s. I'm just saying, from what I've seen in my quilt making when I started, there weren't that many old ones. But it was republished a few times, and she purchased hers in the 70s, but she doesn't remember when. So I don't know whether it was during the quilt revival, like towards the end of the 70s. But I just thought that was cool to see these 3 covers. All right, my friend, you are going to give your camp songs. Oh, I didn't tell you my favorite camp song is the only one I remember is the Girl Scout one, For Friends, right? And that's perfect for us. Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other is gold. So I put the whole thing into our pattern today. I forgot to tell you that. Camp songs. And if you have a favorite camp song, when you share your block, please, please, please tell me about it. You can link to it or give some of the words to it. Maybe then somebody else will add on to the words. That'll be super fun. So I can't wait to see your camp song block. I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.